anybody else. Those happy days that we once knew, so long ago, they still make me blue. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you. You make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you. You make me feel the way I do. The way I do. Yeah. The way I do. Yeah. I lose myself when I think about you. I search within and I want you to find me. I want you right now. If I could show you somehow how much you mean to me. If you could only see. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you. You make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you. You make me feel the way I do. Baby, you know I don't want anybody else. No one but you. You make me feel the way I do. All that I want is to have you to myself. No one but you. You make me feel the way I do. The way I do. Yeah. The way I do.
Well-being is realized by small steps, but it is no small thing. It takes time. Things go slow. You got to go slow before you can go fast. Take things one day at a time, one pose at a time, or one breath at a time. You can do it. Commit to consistency. That's what I'm going to say. Commit to consistency. Do a little bit each and every day, and you will get better before you know it. This is a 1 hour long practice. Maybe you just stick around for 10 minutes. That's A-okay. You do what you can, do a little each day, do what you can with what you got, and it's plenty good enough. Hi, I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga. This is your yoga from home. Okay, why are you here? You're here because you have no commute. You don't have to go to the gym. You can do it in the privacy of your own home. You can learn your yoga. You can practice your yoga. You can feel good in your own body without worrying about the person next to you to going into a handstand while you can barely get into a child's pose. Let it go. Have fun at home. But the biggest thing is the bottom of our screen says, do what is right for you. Don't hurt yourself. We're going to modify. Today's practice, every day is different. We practice differently every single day. Today's is mostly on the ground, but I've got a little bit of balancing. If you want to do the balancing, great. If you don't want to do the balancing, that's great too. You can take it on your mat. You can take it on your mat and do the same poses on your mat, reclined, or don't do them at all. Stay in child's pose for the whole practice. But the most important thing is you decide. You modify, you decide, and do what works for you. All right, word today to think about is the word accept. See, you gotta accept where you are. Accept where you are. And accept means to take or receive with great approval or favor. So let these poses present themselves to you, and you take what works and let the rest go. It's no big deal. It's just yoga. Truly. All right, let's go. You're gonna need some props, a couple of yoga blocks, a belt to your robe or a strap. I like to have an eye shade for final Shavasana because it feels so nice to block out the world and block out light and just focus inward and focus on the breath. And a little hand towel, that's a great thing to have too. Always good to have water. You definitely want some water. All right, here she is. She's got a haircut. What do you think? All right, Piper, go lie down. All right, here we go. Let's start. Let's come into a great pose that everybody loves. It's called Pentacle. Now, while you get there, enjoy the journey. That's what we all got to do, right? Enjoy the journey coming down. While you are getting into Pentacle pose, lock a stress number in your head. Scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10. What's going on? How are you feeling in your body and your mind? Come on down to Pentacle. Lock that stress number in and float on down. As you float on down, you're going to fully recline. Spread your arms up overhead and your feet, your legs, spread them wide too. So think of your body, if you were looking down on yourself, don't look down on yourself. If you were above, looking at your body, you want to bring your body into the shape of the letter X. Take a deep breath in and a big sighing breath out. This is just going to be our little warm up, our time of preparation. All right, so you're here. Congratulations, you showed up. That's the first biggest step. Big breath in. And a big sighing breath out, letting things go. Stop worrying. I know that's more easily said than done, but just right here, right now, you're on your mat. You're in a safe place. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's bothering you. Breathe in, breathe out. And let your body kind of surrender to the gravity of the earth. Let it feel good. It just feels good to just let it all go. But it's hard to do. Soften in your glutes, soften your pinky toes toward the earth. And deepen your breath. Big breaths in through your nose if you can. And big breaths out through your mouth. Audibly let it go. Breathe in. Sigh it out. You are good enough right where you are. I don't know how your arms feel overhead, kind of like in the, the shape of the letter X. Your arms are kind of like in the shape of a letter Y, right? Maybe that doesn't feel so good. Maybe you want to kind of snow angel your arms down a little bit. It's up to you. Breathe in. Breathe out. You don't have to be good at this. You don't have to be good at yoga. You're just here, doing what you can with what you got. That's good enough. What is good anyway? Breathe in. Breathe out. Commit to consistency. Just show up. Maybe you stay in this pose the whole time. Your body is benefiting from the stillness on your mat, from the movements you make on your mat. Trust the process and let things go. Deepen your breath. Stay here if you like. I'm going to move into a pose called Banana Asana. Think of a banana and the way a banana curves. Bring your legs together at the midline of your body. So your big toes, your ankles touch. Reach your arms up overhead, palms touch. So you look like a big number 1. It's your stick pose. Now work your right heels to the bottom right corner of your mat and work your arms, both of them, to the top right corner of your mat. So you're curving your body. If you were to look down upon yourself, you're curving your body like the way a banana's curved. Keep your left shoulder down and keep your left hip down. The tendency is for both of those to want to pop up off your mat. Stay down. Do whatever it takes to keep the shoulders down. Maybe it's less of a curve in your banana. That's okay. Nobody's judging you. Let it go. Breathe in, breathe out. I learned something interesting today, and that's about bananas. I didn't realize why bananas curve. I mean, whoever thinks about that, but why does a banana curve? A banana curves as it grows toward the sunlight. What a nice thought. All right, so here's your banana asana. You're getting a lateral flexion of your spine, a sideways movement. You can feel it from the pinky toe of your left foot all the way through your fingertips, this nice curve. If you want to increase the intensity of the curve, lift your left leg up, the one on the outside, if you will, and cross it over the ankle of the right leg. Take your right hand and grab your left wrist and give it a slight little tug. Oh my goodness, that's really intensifying the pose. Not much effort, but quite an intensification of the pose. Chin away from the chest, taking it slow, just appreciating this side bend. And soften in your jaws, don't clench your teeth. Soften in your eyebrows too. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Release your wrist if you grabbed it, palms back together to touch, uncross your ankles. Slowly wiggle your way back to the midline of your body. Appreciate the extension here. Big breath in, big breath out. Reach, stretch through your armpits. Then go in the other direction. Left or heels to the left corner of your mat. Arms float on over to the top left side of your mat as best you can. Right shoulder stays down, right hip stays down. Maybe lift the right leg and cross the ankles. Maybe take the left hand and pull the right wrist. And maybe you pull it some more. Maybe you move your heels a little bit more to intensify the curve. Or maybe you do just the opposite. Maybe you think, ooh, it's a little too much. Let's back out of it and move more toward the midline. Only you know what feels best for you. Deep breaths. I'm going to tug my wrist a little bit more because it feels good in my shoulder. Slowly come back to the midline of your body. Stretch it out in that stick pose like a big number 1. And stay here if you want. Or float your arms on down by your sides. Come on up and let's do, as we come to sit, bring your shoulders over your hips. Let's do a little half butterfly. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're seated on your bottom now. You're going to bend one leg. Bend one leg and bring the sole of that foot up into the thigh of the opposite leg, which is extended long. Find your block or two. And I've got these couple of different size blocks. Full-size standard block and a little block that we call it half height. It's not quite half height, but you can have one of those too. All right, so we're going to sit in this half butterfly pose. That's one leg bent, other leg extended. Bring your blocks in between your legs and bring your elbows down to the blocks. Maybe you've got your blocks at a higher height. Play with them. They're versatile. There's lots of ways you can do it. Maybe you are comfortable with the elbows on the block. Maybe you want to bring your head down to the block. But just rest here. Settle in and breathe. And it doesn't matter what the height of your blocks is. Do what feels perfect for you right here, right now. We're not going to stay here terribly long. Just maybe 3 or 4 breaths. Other days of the week when we do our restorative practice, we stay longer, 3, 5, 7 minutes in a pose like this. It allows you to get your mind out of the way and just settle into the pose and let your body ease into it. Let's slowly rise on up. shoulders over your hips. Now the side of the leg, the side of the body where the leg is extended, stay there, and let's just take the opposite arm, reach it overhead and reach to the side of that extended leg. Other hand can be a little kickstand down on the ground, you decide. But you want to feel a nice big stretch up the right side, the side that is opposite the extended leg. Chin away from your chest, shoulder back a little bit more. Oh, I feel that for sure. I feel it in between my ribs and those intercostal muscles. Keep your bottom right cheek down and try to keep your knee down too. Stretch, reach, chin away from the chest. Couple of breaths here, eyes open or closed. You got it. And you know, we say it a lot, that the intentional slow breathing that you encourage in yoga, it encourages you to relax, to let go, and to just find calm. So as you breathe through this stretch, feel what you feel. Focus on how the breath affects the stretch. Big breath in, big sighing breath out as you let it go. Maybe stretch and reach a little bit more. And then finish. Come on up, take it slowly. Finish, come on up, shoulders over your hips, and switch it out. Before you switch it out, hinge forward, reach forward, walk your hands forward. Maybe use a block. Push the block forward. Back at the midline to even everything out and come back to the source. Slide it on back up, shoulders over your hips. Now let's switch it out. The opposite leg extends. The other leg's its turn to bend. Bring the sole of the foot up into the thigh as best you can. Maybe that doesn't work. You sit comfortably. Leg extended, other leg nice and bent. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. I'm gonna walk it forward first here. Walk it forward, find a block or two. Put it at the height you like and rest here. Maybe it's the elbows resting, you decide. Just like we did on the other side. Few breaths, shoulders are soft, away from your ears. Just appreciating what you got. So you got that nice extension in the one leg. You got a nice bend in the knee of the other leg. Lengthening through your spine. Letting it feel great. Just a couple of breaths here. Bottom cheeks are down on your mat equally. Press on up, float on up, let it go. All right, that extended leg side, take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Now take your stretch. The arm on the opposite side of the extended leg, you know where the bent leg is, stretch it, reach it. Maybe use your block here. Maybe put your block under your elbow on the extended leg side. Maybe just use your hand. But whatever you do, top shoulder back, chin away from your chest, and both bottom cheeks are down on the mat. Eyes open or closed. Breathe deeply. Breathe slowly. Close your eyes, settle in. You're doing it just perfectly. You are setting the example of excellence here. Breathe. Deep breaths, not shallow breaths. If your breath is shallow, it's telling you, ooh, I'm doing too much. Back out of it a little bit. Sigh it out. Let it go. Breathe. And then, are you ready? Stretch it one more time. Breathe. Now are you ready? I'm ready. Let's slowly float on up. You don't even feel like you want to take that quickly. Shoulders over your hips. Reach forward. Reach forward. Hands go forward. Maybe you're pushing the block. It's all good. Slowly walk your hands back to the midline of your body. Come on up to seated. Bend both legs and come into your thunderbolt pose. What's that one? That's where you bend your knees. Have a seat back on your heels. Stretch it out here. So a nice stretch in the quads, a nice stretch in the knees. Take a big breath in. And a big shoulder softening breath out. Sigh it out. All right, the other day we did cow face where we flossed the shoulders. Today, let's just lift both arms up to the sky. Think like extended mountain. Bend one elbow, hug it in towards your head with the other hand. Hug it in with the hand, pat yourself on the back. Feel the shoulder settling in. Hug it good and tight. As you exhale, feel the depth of the pose. Relax in that shoulder. Think of the shoulders sliding down your back and falling into place. Breathe, sigh it out. Other side, arms go back up to the sky. Bend the other elbow. Capture that elbow with the opposite hand. Hug it in. Squeeze it in. Let the shoulder relax down. Just enjoy how this feels. Deep breaths in. And your big sighing breaths out. Remember that. Let's finish up here. If you're ready, tee out your arms and draw some arm circles on the side of the room. Now you don't have to go huge in the shoulders. If it doesn't feel good, make smaller circles. But I think after that cow face stretch and that big side stretch, I think the arm circles and the shoulders feel pretty good. How about you? So just take a second. A lot of times we just are on autopilot and we don't think. How do your shoulders feel? How are you feeling in your head after that little bit of yoga? Take your arm circles in the other direction. Breathe in, breathe out. Tee out your arms nice and wide. Turn your hands so your palms are facing forward. Let your backs of your hands go to the back of the room as your chest lifts to the sky. When you're ready, let the arms drift toward the midline of your body and then give yourself a big hug. One arm crosses over the other. I'm going to start with the right arm on top. Take the fingers, let them work towards your spine. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Then expand the shoulders to the side of the room. Feel the intensity like you're getting a big hug. Breathe in. Sigh it out. Let it go. Feel the tightness in the upper back. Let that feel good. When you're ready, let's do a big hug on the other side. I've got my right arm on top, so now I'm going to tee out my arms. I'm going to take a second or two and pulse the hands to the back of the room because that feels good. And we do that when we do our You Will Look Taller pose in a little bit. All right, hug again. Opposite arm, left arm is going to come on top. Hands are going to work toward the spine. Oh, tight squeeze. Shoulders away from the ears. Shoulders expand to the sides of your room. Tight, tight hug. Breathe. Sigh it out. Let it go. All right, tee out your arms again. Let it go. Send your arms wide toward the back of the room as your chest lifts up toward the sky. Put a smile on your face. Just feel ready to receive. Receive goodness. Accept to take or receive approval or favor. All right, as you're ready, let's come on down to a child's pose. You can use a block. Here's where you kind of get into your head and talk to yourself, a little bit of self-talk here. All right, so for today's child's pose, let's spread our knees a little bit. Get comfortable here. Big toes touch, hips back to your heels. Use your block, if you like, to rest your head. Reach your arms long and strong to the top of your mat. With the block or without the block, you can bring your head down to your mat. You decide what you like. Let everything go. Don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future, just enjoy the present moment. So start with your senses. Eyes are closed, perhaps. Feel the temperature of the room. Feel the texture of your mat beneath your hands. Big breaths in. Maybe you smell coffee, or maybe you smell flowers. Breathe in. And your ears. Listen to the sound of your breath. Close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose as you hear the sound of your breath in the back of your throat. Let's go back to the shoulders again. Your arms are extended long to the top of your mat. Wiggle your hands to the top right corner of your mat, kind of like you're doing a banana asana pose in your arms. Sink your hips back towards your heels. Feel the nice stretch up the left side of your body. Feel the stretch in your armpit. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the outside world go. All that matters right here, right now, is this one body of yours. Only one you got, the only one you're gonna get. Take care of it. Let's wiggle our fingers, walk them like a spider back to the midline of your body. Take a big stretch, reaching forward. And then same thing on the other side. Reach all 10 fingers to the top left corner of your mat. Feel the nice big stretch in your right armpit. We're going to do broken wing in a little bit. All this preparation in the shoulders is going to make it just slide so easily into a broken wing. You're going to love it. All right, walk your fingers back to the midline of your body. Stretch them, reach them longer to the top, and then press into your hands a little bit more. And send your tailbone more to the back of the room. Your spine is lengthening, your legs are getting a nice stretch, even your ankles are getting a good stretch here. When you're ready, let's go into a neutral tabletop. Slide your arms, your hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Press the tops of your feet into your mat and lengthen through your spine. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Fingers are spread wide. Press a little more weight into your thumb and your pointer finger to alleviate any tension on your wrists. As you're ready, cat-cow. Tuck your chin to your chest, tuck your tailbone under, arch your back up to the sky, push hard into your hands, feel the goodness in your shoulders. As you exhale, come on up to cow pose. Tailbone up, crown of the head lifts. That's on an inhale. Exhale, cat pose. I knew something wasn't quite right. Exhale, cat. And the reason why we exhale to cat is because think about it. You're hollowing out your belly, breathing out, 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 bringing your belly button to your spine. It allows you to curve your spine even more, tucking your belly button to the spine, creating that Halloween cat look. Inhale, cow. Tailbone and crown of the head lift. Exhale, cat. Do a few more cat-cows. Do it to your pace. What feels really good? You're getting your spine moving. All right, neutral tabletop position. When you're ready, lift your right leg up, up, up to the sky. Give yourself like a little kick in the bottom with your knee bent and your knee at about hip height. Let's do cat pulling its tail. This feels really good and it's a nice twist. Take your left hand, reach around, capture your right foot. Kick into your hand, looking down at your right thumb. Stay right here, kick harder into your hand and feel the opening through the left collarbone. Maybe look to the left side of your mat, maybe look to the left side of your room, or maybe look over your left shoulder. Kick hard, breathe, push into your mat. Finish up, knee comes down, hand comes down, another side. Lift your left leg up. Little pulses of the heel towards your bottom. Maybe that's where you stay today. It's all good, it's all fine. Don't judge yourself. I'm going to lift my leg a little higher. I'm going to reach my right hand around and capture the left foot. I'm going to kick into my hand, feeling the opening in my chest, looking to the right side of my mat, looking to the right side of my room, kicking harder, maybe looking over my right shoulder, cat pulling its tail. Now we'll go to bird dog. Let's finish. Hand down, knee down. Take a cycle of cat-cow to just even out. Chin to chest, tailbone up, tucks. Cow pose, just the opposite. Come back to a neutral tabletop. Bird dog pose. Send your right leg long, knee to about hip height. Leg extends long. Draw your toes towards your shin. Nice and stable, strong leg. Lift your left arm. Reach here. Look down to your right thumb. Reach, stretch. You got it. Reach and stretch. You got it. Tuck your elbow to your knee. Right knee, left elbow. And then reach and stretch. Right knee, left elbow. Reach and stretch. Hand comes down. Knee comes down. Other side. Left leg lifts, knee to hip height. Leg extends, toes drawn toward the shin. Dial your left hip down so your hips are equidistant. Reach through your right hand, or don't if lifting the leg is enough for you today. Feel the compression in your low back. You're strengthening it. You're reaching, you're stretching, you're elongating your spine. When you're ready, if you like, elbow to knee, and then reach. Elbow to knee, and reach. Do we do it 3 times on the other side? Maybe, I don't know. Kind of sort of even out. When you're ready, hand down, knee down. Take a cycle of cat-cow because you can. Cat and cow. Time for broken wing. All right, here's the deal with broken wing. Slip on down to your belly. Tee out your left arm. So your left hand is at about shoulder height. Right arm is going to bend, and that's where you got the power. Roll onto your left shoulder. And as you roll onto your left shoulder and left hip, take your right hand, have it kind of under where your collarbone was, press into the earth. Think of your right hand as like a little elevator, and it's going to intensify the stretch in your left shoulder. All right, my left arm is straight. If you want to bend it a little bit, totally do that. My legs are straight. If you want to bend them to like a little fetal position, that's fine too. Maybe you want to straighten both legs, and the top leg, the right leg, maybe you bend it and bring the sole of the right foot in front of the extended left leg, driving the knee of the right leg up toward the sky. Maybe you like how that intensifies your pose. Another option would be that top leg, the right leg. Instead of being in front of the extended leg, bring it on down behind the extended left leg. Breathe. This is your broken wing. After this, we're going to do a plank. All right, shoulders feel nice and stretched and mobile, and lots of space in the shoulders. Let it feel good. And intensify the pose if you want by pushing harder into the ground. Let's roll onto our bellies. That sounds good. And I'm going to take this on the other side. All right, here's the deal. Tee out your right arm. Left arm bends. Roll onto your right hip. Now you can tee out your arm. You can bend it if you prefer. You can lower it down if you like. You find what the sweet spot is for you. The left arm, the other arm, put it under where your collarbone was. Push into it. Legs can be extended. You're starting to feel the stretch in that right shoulder, right? It doesn't matter what your pose looks like. What matters is how it feels for you. And it feels different for everybody. Legs can be extended. A little bit of a fetal position in the legs if that feels better. Legs can be extended. Top leg sole of the foot can come in front of the extended top leg. I'm going to drive my knee up to the sky a little bit more. Let that feel good. And don't hold on. Just let the shoulders relax. Send your breath to your right shoulder. Another option would be to plant the sole of the foot behind the extended right leg, driving the knee up to the sky, pushing into the earth, and letting the pose work for you. Don't try to force yourself into a pose that just doesn't feel right. Let the pose work for you. There's your broken wing. Stay longer if you like. I'm going to roll out of this pose, coming down to my belly. I'm going to bend both arms, place them under my collarbones, and press on up to a seal pose. Pressing up to a seal pose, arms are strong and long, legs are extended, gaze is forward. Soften in your glutes. Press on up, and let's do a plank. All right, we typically do a plank just about every practice because it's so important to strengthen your core. All right, you're pretty flexible now, you're pretty mobile, you're warmed up, you can do a plank. Perhaps you'd like to lie on your back, take your 2 blocks in your hands, send them up toward the ceiling like you're in a 180-degree flipped over plank. Start there. You got to start somewhere, and it's all good. Don't sweat it. All right, another option would be, remember neutral tabletop? Spread your knees a little bit wider. Hinge a little more forward. Put more weight into your hands. Have your shoulders over your wrists. That's an important part of stability. I posted a picture the other day in our private group, Friends of 316 Yoga, which you can join if you like, where it showed a guy with his arms kind of all wonky in his plank pose, but he had a dog on his back, so that was kind of the focus there. But anyway, elbows should be over your wrists. Wrists should be under your elbows, obviously, and then your shoulders in line as well. Fingers spread wide. Hold here because you got strength there. You could drop down to your forearms if that feels better. Again, keeping your shoulders over your elbows. Forearms pressed into the earth, knees go back a little bit. You can stay right here. You can tuck your toes towards your shins. You can pop on up for a dolphin plank. Breathe here, totally fine. I'm going to take a high plank today. All right, so we're gonna set a timer. It's gonna come up on the screen. You can time yourself if you want to, or let it go. Let's begin now. So timer is 1 minute. You can look up there and see. All right, I'm gonna lengthen through my body like a plank, right? Fingers are spread wide, shoulders are over the wrists, feet hip width distance apart, core is engaged. What does that mean? I'm looking down between my thumbs. I'm staying strong, I'm tightening up in everything I got. Can't help but do that, right? So we're about 15 seconds in. Hold here and breathe, whichever variation you're in. Deep breaths, stay strong. Eyes can be opened or closed, you decide. We're about halfway there. Now you can take a break anytime you want. If you're in a high plank, you can send your hips high to a down dog. That's a bit of a break, taking the weight off the arms. You could also drop to your knees for a breath or two. You decide what you like. We got 15 seconds to go. Be strong in the arms, be strong in the mind. You've got it. No giving up, no quitting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Come on down, grab a seat, maybe grab your water. A minute. You get a lot of benefits from doing a 1 minute plank. Main thing is you can do it, and you're telling yourself, I can do it. Yes, I can. All right, drink of water. Let's go. Another core pose. Your strap. Let's use it today. If you don't have a strap, you don't need to do it. You're gonna do both, but you're not gonna do it with a strap. Or, grab a belt to your robe. Grab a dog leash, whatever you got. Okay, boat pose. If you have nothing, okay, you start to seated, legs extended. Walk your arms back, and you can lean on back here. Use your arms as a little kickstand and lift your legs. All right, feel that in your core. I'm gonna use the strap. Strap center underneath my feet, like reins of a horse. Thumbs up or sideways, up to you. I like it better with thumbs up. Lean on back. Lift out of the chest. You want your back flat. Don't round your back. Breathe. Chest is lifted. Lift your heels up. Lean on back as if you were in a beach recliner. Hold on here, stay stable, stay strong. You are stable. You are strong. And you are getting stronger with each and every practice that you do. Breathe in, breathe out. Soften in your shoulders, lean back a little more, maybe lift the legs a little more, adjust, play with it, find your balance. And then heels float down, but you're in control. Let them float down with control. Sit on up nice and straight. Use both hands on both straps. Walk down the strap. Send your gaze towards your knees for a little restorative fold here with the help of this strap. Remove the strap. Come on down to recline. To make your way to that pentacle pose. Legs spread wide. Drift on back nice and slowly. Take it slowly as best you can. Once you're all the way down, arms go high overhead, back to pentacle. Remember this. Breathe in, breathe out. Adjust so you're comfortable. Breathe in. Maybe sigh it out. Let it go. Then come back to your Ujjayi Pranayama breath if you like. That's just breathing with your mouth closed. Let your arms float on down by your sides, and if you like, just use your core and come on up to seated, or use your hands and press on up to seated. You decide how you're going to do it today. All right, wide-legged forward fold. Spread your legs wide, nice and wide. Elbows down toward the earth, or using your block, bring them down to the block. You got this. Nice wide-legged forward fold. You decide how you want to do it. You've got length in your back. Your elbows come down. You're strong. Let's come on back up to seated. Come back to pentacle. Enjoy the transition of getting here. Come on back to pentacle. All right, now here's where you got a choice. You can stay right here in pentacle pose. Now I'm going to go do some standing poses, but you can stay here in pentacle. It's a lovely place to be. It's a resetting pose. Don't overstress yourself. You can wiggle your feet. Don't overstress yourself. Stay right here. And these standing poses, you can do them lying down as well, and I'll talk you through them. Or stay in pentacle. So many choices. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna float on up or use your hands. Come on up to seated. Crisscross at the ankles. Hands plant, come into a downward facing dog pose. In your downward facing dog pose, feet are hip width distance apart, hands are shoulder width distance apart. You're kind of on the balls of your feet. Pedal out your heels. Let one heel come closer to the earth than the other. Really bend the opposite leg. Bend into the ball of that foot. Shake your neck, loosen your neck. Look back to where your knees are or up towards your belly button as your head hangs heavy. Finish up here. Still your heels. Drive the heels toward the earth. Breathe in, breathe out. Walk your feet up to meet your hands or walk your hands back to meet your feet. It's a couple balancing poses. Sweep your arms up to an extended mountain pose. Up to an extended mountain pose. Come on up, camera. Hi, camera. We need you. All right, maybe we won't do that right now. There we go. All right, let's lift our arms up to the sky. Let's do a you will look taller pose. Bring your legs together. You can do this lying down. Legs together, arms lift, capital letter Y. If you're in that pentacle on the ground, all you gotta do is put your legs together. Your hands are already there. Big letter Y, press the backs of your hands to the back of the room. This pose will improve your posture and it will make you look taller. Big letter Y for the word you. Big letter W as the elbows come down. Squeeze the backs of the hands to the back of the room. Chest is lifted. You will, 2 L's backward and forward, squeeze them in towards your waist. Chest is lifted. Tee out your arms for taller. Pulse your hands to the back of the room. If you're lying on the ground, just press your hands into the back of the mat. Let's do it again. You will look. T for taller. There you go. 3rd time's the charm. Big letter Y. Big letter W. Look. Look, look. T for taller, pulse your hands back. You've got it. Let's do tree. Hands to prayer center. Take a deep breath in, eyes perhaps closed. Deep breath out, soften in the shoulders. You can do this reclined as well. Just bend your right leg, and then if you're reclined, you can lift your right leg and just cross it over at the shin or higher into the thigh. If you're standing, bend one leg, open that knee up to the side of the room. You could have a chair nearby for balance. Bring the heel into the ankle of the standing leg, or lift it higher still. Push the foot into the leg and the leg back into the foot. Breathe. Hands to prayer center. Look up to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Grow your branches. One hand lifts or the other lifts or both lift and you sway them. Don't look at me because my arms are moving. Look up to where the ceiling and the wall meet so that you're looking at something that's not moving. If you fall out, come back in. Don't end on a fall out note. Press your foot into your leg and your leg into your foot and breathe. Once you're ready, hands back to prayer center. Get in control. Bring the right knee forward. Lift your arms up to the sky for a one-legged mountain. We're not resting. There you go. Stay there. Hold on. Let's move it into a humble warrior. Hands to prayer center. Sit back a little bit like you're in a chair and cross your legs so they come into a figure 4. Sit back a little bit more. Sit low and hold here, hands at prayer. Find your focus, find your balance. Maybe take your hands, release them and send them behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Send your gaze down to the mat and your hands that are interlaced, send them up toward the sky. Hands release, back to prayer center. Foot comes down to the ground, stand up, extended mountain. Breathe in. Soften up. Hands to prayer center. Tree pose on the other side. One leg roots in, the opposite leg opens up to the side. Hold it here. Bring the sole of the foot up a little bit or a little bit more or not at all. You know, you could kickstand it on the ground. Press the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot. Maybe grow a branch and or the other branch. Maybe sway them as you look to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Find your quiet moment in your balance. Hands back to prayer center. Guide the knee to the front of the room, but don't set it down. Lift your arms up for your one-legged mountain. Hold it here. Breathe. Knee is at about hip height. Find your balance. When you're ready, hands to prayer. Crisscross that leg, bringing your your legs into a figure 4. Sit your bottom back like you're in a chair. Sit lower, feel the big stretch in your glutes. Hold it here, or perhaps hands float to your low back and interlace. Gaze down towards your mat. Lift your hands up as your gaze goes towards your foot. Hands float back to prayer center. Come on up to standing and let that left foot come down. Take a deep breath in, arms lift. Little back bend if you want. Exhale, hands to prayer center. Fold forward. We're going to meet everybody else back on the mat. Bend your knees and come on down. Let's make our way to a hero's pose. All right, so come to your knees if you want to do this. We're going to take it in layers, so don't sweat it. Come to your knees. Find maybe both blocks. Bring the blocks by your sides. All right, now you're going to sit back on your heels. So there's the start. There's your thunderbolt pose. How you doing with this? If this is not even good, take your block, put it behind your heels, and have a seat there. The block is just squishy enough it doesn't kill your heels or your ankles, and you can sit. It's strong enough, it'll support your bottom. Stay right there. All right, progression. It's all about progression, right? Take it slow, small steps, no small thing. I'm going to spread my knees a little bit, and I'm going to let my bottom come down between my parallel shins. So my heels and my inner ankles are touching my hip creases. All right, I'm going to keep my knees down and kind of keep them sort of together as best I can. I'm going to walk back with the blocks. Maybe I'm just going to hang out here. Maybe I'm more comfortable bringing them to a more stable height and going a little bit lower. You decide what you like. Maybe work on down forearms to the blocks. How's that? Maybe it's okay. If it's painful, come out of it. Oh, just press on back up to where you were. Go back to where you were, where it was doable and comfortable and you weren't stressed out. Pay attention to your breath to get you there. All right, so here we are, hanging out. You can give yourself a foot massage. That's always nice. And just let it be a big stretch for your quadriceps. And once you're comfortably down here, if you like, you can remove the blocks and come all the way down. You could take your hands, bring them up overhead, crisscross at the elbows, and grab for opposite elbow creases. Any of those layers is good. Any of those layers is fine. All of those layers are great. You do what is great for your body today. Don't sweat it. That's your hero's pose. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And always remember, choose purpose over perfection. And what is perfection anyway? You don't have to take every pose to its fullest expression. You take it for its purpose. This is a nice stretch in the calf, in the quadriceps. Do what's right for you. I'm going to float out of this pose. I'm going to bring my arms down. I'm going to press on up to my elbows and press on up to a comfortable seated position. I'm going to come out of this pose. I'm going to send my legs long on the mat, toes up toward the sky. Arms reach high. Reach forward, reach more forward. Think of space in your back. Capture your ankles, your calves, hug your elbows in. Look down towards your knees. All right, you're looking down at your knees. Now close your eyes. Breathe in. Maybe sigh it out. Imagine your nose or your forehead. Everybody's height is different. Imagine that touching your knees. Breathe in. Find length in your back. Breathe out. Allow your belly to be hollowed out. In, find length. You're going to push back up a little bit because you fill your belly with air. And then exhale as much as you can, and then bring your head closer to your knees. Bring your eyes to an open position. How's that? How about just open your eyes and look at your knees. See how much closer you are. When you let go, you can do more than you think. Slowly float on up, shoulders over your hips. Roll on to your stomach. Let's do Superman to swimmer. I know it's a Pilates pose. Let's do Superman to swimmer to locust. All right, back to your shoulders. Reach long like you did in that extended child's pose. You want to feel it in the shoulders. We've been working on the shoulders the last couple days. Kind of nice. All right, your legs, don't worry about them. Get them comfortable. Maybe lift one leg, then the other. Maybe you can feel your pelvis in the mat. Reach your arms long and strong. This is going to be your Superman pose. So think of Superman flying. Maybe lift both legs up. Maybe lift them higher and hold here, compression in the low back. Maybe the feet come down. Maybe you lift one arm, then the other. Maybe the arms come down. Or take it to your full Superman. Lift all four limbs. Reach, stretch, and fly like Superman. Hold it here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Start to kick your feet, taking the pose to a swimmer pose. Sweep your arms around. Keep kicking. Sweep your arms around. Palms down. Lift a little higher in the chest. Maybe still the legs or kick them. You decide. Sweep the arms forward, come back to your swimmer, or come back to your Superman, holding them still. Sweep the arms back, lift through the fingers, lift through the chest, and then finish. Hands come down underneath your collarbones, the legs come down too. Inhale, press on up, seal. When you're ready, send your hips back to a wide-legged child's pose. Arms reach long and strong to the top of your mat. Feel the goodness in your shoulders. Breathe in, breathe out. Now come on down to your belly and then roll on over. Let the rolling over feel good. Roll over and come to a reclined position. Have your eye shade, should have told you that earlier. Grab your eye shade and your towel, bring it up by your shoulders. Supine twist, left leg long, right knee bends, interlaced fingers, hug under your right knee. If the knee is just too far away, use your towel to hug the knee in. Hugging the knee in is an important part, but the left leg is important too. Let it be long on your mat. Let your heel be at the very bottom of your mat and draw your toes towards your shin. Hold it here. You can do your supine twist. Maybe interlace your fingers underneath your knee. Left hand guides the right knee across the middle of your body and you roll onto your left hip. Right arm tees out and your gaze goes right. Soften in your hips. Let this feel good. Your gaze is to the right. You keep both shoulders down. Finish. Both hips come down to the earth. Enjoy the rolling to get there. It feels good. Hug the right knee in, circle the right ankle a few times this way and that. Right leg goes long on your mat. Left leg bends. Draw it up towards your chest. Using the towel to hug it in or using your interlaced fingers to hug it in. Elbows are hugged in as well. Breathe. Hug it in good and tight. Feel it in your hips. Circle your left ankle this way and that. Remember, draw your right toes toward your shins so that leg is long and you can feel the calf on your mat. Right hand takes the left leg and guides it across the midline of your body. Encourage the knee toward the earth. Tee out your left arm. You've got that mobility in your shoulders now. Turn your gaze to the left. And breathe. Slowly bring your left hip down. Enjoy the getting there. Hug the left knee in. Circle the ankle a few times this way and that. Let the left leg release down to the mat to meet the right one. Once they're down there, let the ankles touch. Arms float down by your sides. Lift your legs up together. Lift them up to the sky. Point your toes. Do awesome little circles on the ceiling. In one direction, then the other. Now draw your toes towards your shins and float your heels down nice and slowly to the earth. Think of your boat pose. Your core is strong, right? Hold on. Maybe hang out at one place or another as you wake your way down all the way to the mat. With control. Once you're down, time for final Shavasana. Legs spread. Eyes can be covered with your eye shade or your towel. Let it feel good. Arms down by your sides, palms face up, shoulders away from the ears. Tuck your shoulder blades under. Sigh it out, let it go. Soften the area between your eyebrows. And breathe. Deep breaths, any way you like. Eyebrows are soft. Pinky toes float toward the earth. Deepen your breath. Just a few more minutes here, or longer if you like. What you could do is, if you have your remote nearby, you could pause the video here and stay as long in your final Shavasana as you need. Yeah, think of it that way. You can stay as long as you want to, but stay as long as you need to. What do you need? Listen to your body. And you know what? Even 5 minutes, you think, oh, that's a long time. It goes by quickly. Maybe challenge yourself to stay in your final Shavasana pose for 5 minutes with no thoughts. Just your breath. And then when you're ready to resume your practice, you would unpause the video, take a deep breath in, and I like to take a big sighing breath out through the mouth, letting everything go. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Point your toes, lift your arms high up, and take a big good morning stretch. Now your shoulders. Maybe reach one arm a little higher, finding length in that shoulder. Then bring it on back, and then lift the other one a little bit higher. And go back and forth a little bit. You got mobility in your shoulders. Maybe it now feels good to have your hands that high. All right, now snow angel your arms down. How does that feel? Can you keep the backs of your hands down on your mat? Float them on down by your sides, shoulders away from your ears. Roll into a fetal position, onto one side or the other. Bend your low arm. Use that bicep as a pillow for your head. How does the bend in the arm feel? We did a cow face pose. Soften in the top shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out. Let it all go. All right, just the little things, the little bits of self-discipline. When you push on up to the seated position, are you pushing in your hands? That's okay if you are. Or consciously, I'm not going to push into my hands. I'm going to use my core. I'm going to press on up to a seated position. Just be conscious of what you're doing, especially when you sit in a chair. Don't use your hands to hoist yourself out. Try to use those strong legs. We've worked on them. Your strong legs, your strong core, you can do it. So now you're seated. Bring your hands to prayer center. Take a deep breath in and a shoulder softening breath out. Let it go. Blink your eyes open. You did it. 1 hour. I think it goes by really quickly. I hope you do too. However long you were here, it was good because that's what your body wanted you to do. Get your mind out of the way and listen to your body. Took a stress number in the beginning. What was it? And now what is it? I hope your stress is down quite a bit. The yoga helps. As you go on with your day, may happiness, to include joy and love and peace and contentment, flow to you and flow through you to others for the rest of the day. Have a great day, everybody. See you on your mats tomorrow. Check us out, Facebook, Friends of 316 Yoga. I'll let you in the group, and I'll share some articles with you. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye. Hello, Piper. Good girl. Good girl. You're silly. You are silly. You want to go for a walk? You're still here, and I'm really glad for that. Keep this in mind. The path is made through repetition. Keep showing up, and good things will happen. You know that. I'm glad that you're still sticking around. Tell your friends what the yoga's doing for you. Our yoga is free for anybody and everybody on Facebook and YouTube, and they can join in anytime from the privacy of their own home. Tell them about our practice, please. If you'd like to support our broadcast, you can visit our website. It's www.316yoga.com. Stay on your path, enjoy your yoga, and have a great rest of your day. See you on your mats tomorrow.